Good morning, children. So, where were we? Let us start your social class. We were discussing famous people of the world, right? Page number 88. Where is it? Okay, yes. So in the last class we have discussed about one of the famous personality, a famous poet, a philosopher, a music composer whose name is Rabindranath Tagore, right? So today we will discuss about one more famous poet, that is Sarojini Naidu. So let us see what this book has to offer us in terms of Sarojini Naidu. Sarojini Naidu, also known as Sarojini Chattopadhyaya, underline the other name because she is famously known as Sarojini Naidu. The other name, Sarojini Chattopadhyaya, was a famous Indian poet and a reputed freedom fighter who subsequently became the first Indian woman to be appointed as the President of Indian National Congress and a governor of any state in India after independence. Unlike that, the first Indian woman to be appointed as the President of Indian National Congress and also governor of any state in India after independence. She was born on 13th February 1879 in Hyderabad. She was a noted child prodigy and a master of children's literature. Naidu was given the nickname Bharat Kokila, the Nightingale of India, on account of her beautiful poems and songs. So underline that nickname of Sarojini Naidu, Bharat Kokila, which means the Nightingale of India. Some of her best books that established her as a potent writer includes The Golden Threshold, The Gift of India, and The Broken Wing. Please underline some of her best books. The Golden Threshold, The Gift of India, and The Broken Wing. She is also an active participant of the Indian independence movement. Naidu joined the national movement after taking Gandhiji's call and joined him in the popular Salt Satyagraha to Dandi. With the Indian independence in 1947, Sarojini Naidu was made the governor of Uttar Pradesh. She died of an heart attack on 2nd March 1949. Alright. So now let us come back to the topic. Reading is over. So let's see the main points. First of all, the other name for Sarojini Naidu is Sarojini Chattopadhyaya. Next, she was the first Indian woman to be appointed as the President of Indian National Congress and also a governor of any state in our country after independence. Next, she was born in Hyderabad on 13th February 1879. She was given a nickname as Bharat Kokila, the Nightingale of India. Some of her famous books is The Golden Threshold, The Gift of India, and The Broken Wing. She was also very active during our freedom struggle and she has joined various movements after taking Gandhi's call, and also she has joined along with him in the popular, which is known as Salt March or Salt Satyagraha. You will come to know more about this particular movement in your later classes, especially in history, when it comes to wherever you get the topic of nationalism for our country in India, you'll come to get this topic. So there you can understand in a much more broader meaning. Now, after independence, as we have read in the first paragraph, she was made the governor of Uttar Pradesh. Later in 1949, she died out of heart attack on 2nd March 1949. So that's all about her. In short, in brief, a brief introduction about her. Next we have the political leader, that's Abraham Lincoln, from 1809 to 1865. Let's see what do we get to know about Abraham Lincoln from this topic. Abraham Lincoln was born on 12 February 1809 in a farmer's family in USA. He worked as a farm laborer and storekeeper. He did not have any formal schooling. Finally, he took up law as a career. He was elected President of United States in 1860. I hope you have underlined the first paragraph. The main points is date of birth and his career as a lawyer, his family background. He belonged from a farmer's family. So please underline all this. And also, when did he become the President of US? 1860. Abraham Lincoln was the 16th President of the United States. Underline that, 16th President. Before being elected to presidency, Lincoln was a successful lawyer, an Illinois state legislator, and a member of the United States House of Representatives. Underline all those. Before becoming a president, he was a lawyer, not only a lawyer, a successful lawyer, an Illinois state legislator, and also a member of US House of Representatives. His presidency is primarily marked by his illustrious success in defeating the secessionists, abolition of slavery, and neutralizing a war-like situation with the United Kingdom in 1861. Underline some of his achievements. You can say these are his achievements. Defeating the secessionists, abolishing slavery, and neutralizing war-like situation with the United Kingdom in 1861. His assassination in 1865 was the first ever presidential assassination in the US history, which made him a martyr. Many people were against his generous policies. On the night of April 14, 1865, when he was returning from a theater, he was shot dead by a Southerner. His death was mourned all over the world. Alright. So there are many points to be taken note of in this particular topic about Abraham Lincoln being one of the famous political leaders of the world. His birth date 12 February 1809. His family background, from a farmer's family, and the journey towards the towards being the president of one of the most powerful country of the world was not so easy for him. He had worked as a farm laborer, a storekeeper, even though he did not get any formal schooling, but he took up law as a career. And in 1860, when he became the president of US, he was the 16th president, but before being elected as the president, he was also a successful lawyer, a state legislature, and a member of United States House Representative. And he is mainly known for some of his actions, for some of his deeds, such as defeating secessionists, abolishing slavery, neutralizing the war, which was about to be held with UK. Finally, in 1865, he was killed, and this was for the first time in the United States history where a president was being killed, and as a result, this made him a martyr. It so happened that on the night of 14th April 1865, when he was returning home from a theater, it was then when he was shot. Next we have about Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, which many of you or most of us we know as Mahatma Gandhi, but it was actually Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. Okay, that was his real name. You will find it as we read the text. Let us do this topic as well. Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi was born in Porbandar, a town in Gujarat in Western India on 2nd October 1869. All of you are familiar with his date of birth as we celebrate Gandhi Jayanti. He is considered as the father of nation of our country as he has done a lot for the country. In the year 1888, he travelled to England to study law at the University College of London to train as a barrister. In layman's term, you can say a lawyer. Underline that. In the year 1888, and also the place where he was born, as most of you know about it, but still, he travelled to England to study law. He was popularly known as Mahatma Gandhi. He was one of the greatest political and spiritual leader of India who led the country during the non-cooperation movement in 1922, Salt March in 1930, and later Quit India movement in 1942. Please underline all this movement which was led by him. Known as Beloved Bapu in India, Mahatma Gandhi adopted the policy of mass disobedience and non-violent resistance as weapon against the British rule in India and followed the principle of ahimsa. However, his struggle did not restrict him to India alone, as he played a key role in the civil rights movement in South Africa and secured them the right to justice and equality. His birthday, 2nd October, is commemorated as Gandhi Jayanti, a national holiday, and as an international non-violence day across the world. Gandhi was assassinated on 30th January 1948 on the grounds of Birla House in New Delhi. Alright. This is just a small brief, a brief note about Gandhi, as because there are many, a whole book, you can say, volumes, if you need to know about him. So, he was born in Porbandar, a small town which is in Gujarat in Western India. And in 1888, he travelled to London to study law. His actual name is Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, but he was popularly known as Mahatma Gandhi. He was a great political as well as a spiritual leader who had led several movements such as non-cooperation, Salt March, and Quit India. All the dates are being mentioned, please mark that. Non-cooperation 1922, Salt March 1930, Quit India 1942. He is, in a loving way, he is also known as Bapu in our country, and he has also adopted various policies such as you can say civil disobedience, mass disobedience, and also his main weapon against the Britishers were a non-violent resistance. He followed the principle of ahimsa, satyagraha. Not only in India, he has played a very important role in the civil rights movement which broke in South Africa and also helped them to get the right to justice and equality. His birthday, as I told you, is celebrated as a Gandhi Jayanti in our country and as an international non-violence day across the world. Lastly, he was assassinated on 30th January 1948 on the grounds of Birla House, which is New Delhi. Next, we have some of the spiritual and religious leader. So we are done with two sections, that is poets and political leaders. The spiritual and religious leader will be discussed in the next class. Let me mark up to this much. Now let us go to the exercise. Depending upon this topic, which are the questions related to this particular topic. Question number A, page number 92. Question number 3, A3. A3, A4, please mark. Let me mark as well, so that when you submit I can tell you them. Question number B, fill in the blanks. Fill in the blanks number 2, 3. MCQ, that's tick the correct option. 1, 2, match the column. We will come back because it's all jumbled up, so after finishing the entire lesson we'll come back to match the column. Question number E, E2, E3 and E4. Alright, just short answer question, one line answer you can say. So this will be the assignment for the day. Alright then, see you in the next class. Study well.